I think to start with, and many of uh, people in the team, they don't even know the agenda.
Mm.
So the agenda is walk.
Wow.
Yay. Coffee subtle clap.
I think we should have also done the same thing.
Yeah, the agenda is that we had started our fitness club. I think some of us done phenomenal, some of us done good, and some of us done nothing. So today, the day is for people who have done amazingly well, and four people who I can see right now in a video. They are core inspiration. Snehal being the best captain of among our league, right? And Udyan, Navindu, and Abhishek cracking the pot like how. So
Yeah,
yeah, so Snehal, over to you.
sure. Thank you. And nice, nice. I love how you're walking already. Guys, good morning. So basically, this is just like a quick talk about Strava and this 2.5 month long journey that we've done, and we're finally here. So, so basically, just about how basically we went through, and how this whole Strava thing really came in and helped us all really get walking, get running, doing everything that we really always wanted to do, and always found that one reason that we always thought, okay, time nahi hai, ya, maybe just eaten, can't go for a walk, this and that. All of those reasons really went away this 2.5 month, and we really went out. And I think everybody, whether it was just doing some kilometers of walk, or people who have done really well, two of the main people who have really lost weight and how are right here going to talk in a bit. And I think we've all done really well, and super kudos for all of us. And yeah, so basically just starting off with how we as a team started off was, I remember how we created WhatsApp groups also, and we wanted everybody to really engage and do their best when it came to fitness. So what I really started off with was, whenever we went out to run, or whatever activity that we did, what we did was, we shared a picture of us, a selfie of us, whenever we did any activity on the group. So I remember Abhishek was super supportive of this. Every morning, regularly, he would always, there was always this one picture of his running shoes or of himself, this super amazing selfies coming up every day. And I think Abhishek and I really started off for like one and a half week, and everybody in the team were upright, and even they wanted to do the same thing. So I remember that really strike the chord, where it actually seems maybe stupid also, because okay, why do we put up a selfie once you're done running? We're already running. That's enough that we're doing. But I think that really helped. And Abhishek and I remember talking about this, where we saw that okay, people who weren't really working out, even they started to work out then. So that really worked out for us. Just a second, guys. Yeah. So that happened really well. And apart from that, I personally feel that that I'm a super big foodie. I run a food blog, and I still always had this thing where I really want to do something regarding fitness, or max to max just go out for a run. But I always found some or the other reason to not do it. But I think Strava really like helped me out, go out every day, no matter what, no matter the time. And I think every day, so I'm not a morning person, not at all. And every time after I finished work, I made sure to at least run for half an hour. And just half an hour, and after that I automatically wanted to do it more. I would like just push myself to, okay, 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers karte, and thoda karke I've started, it's a habit now. It's not even something that I have to push myself to do. So I think that was super good. That's a really big change that's come in me in these past 2.5 months. So that's really amazing, an initiative that the HRs here have taken. And yeah, so coming now to the next three people that we have. super when it comes to talking about stamina, losing weight, and just being these fitness leaders. I think Abhishek, Punya, UD, and Navendu, they have really kicked off how, and however possible in every way. So yeah, so over to you, Abhishek.
Okay, thanks, Neil. So I'll actually make it more conversational. So I'll start with UD first. UD, you here?
Yeah.
Hi, so just for all of you, UD ran to office today. No pressure.
No.
UD, okay. So one of the thing that highlights and something that has worked for, at least Niharika is not here. I would have loved to have her here today. It was kept as a secret, this complete workout regime that you went through. Because when I saw you, I was in awe. I said, "What have you done?" So how did it start? How was the journey?
Okay, it actually started with our trip back to hospital when all these people joined me home, and Vendu found a diary of mine which had this weight log, and the journey I had started about 2-3 years back where I had lost about 18 kilos. And again, one of the major parts of any fitness routine is consistency. That is something that you have to fight for yourself to keep up, otherwise you will lose it. So at that point of time, 2-3 years back, I had lost it, I had gained that weight back. Navendu found this diary and he's like, "तूने ये किया हुआ है?" I'm like, "हाँ किया हुआ है." He's like, "Why are we not doing this again?" I'm like, "Let's do it when we get back to Gurgaon." And that was our plan, that from April we'll start on this. And the lockdown happened. Navendu started, and I found out about 15 days into it that Navendu has started. And he's like, "Tu kya kar raha hai? Chal shuru kar." I'm like, "Done. Aaj se walk shuru." And it was just a spur of the moment that it just started. And then after that, the consistency and the intent is where it came in. Not a problem. Every week, me and Naveen used to catch up, okay, what the progress is, what the plan for the next week is, and that's how I was personally able to build a consistency, build this thing. Let's keep it a continued journey and get this out of the way this time.
Okay, I know for Navendu, but you have another guru in office. You want to talk about him?
So now this over here, everything defines this by intent. The moment you show intent, things will fall in place. So after the first initial months, Navendu and me were like, "Okay, kuch aur karte hain. Let's get Shashank involved in this. Let's ask Shashank to get us, or like maybe do yoga classes with him, anything." So the first 2 months we were like, "Shashank करना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, yoga करना है, push करते हैं अपने आप को." And the moment that happened, Shashank just took over. He's like, "ये दोनों लड़के कर रहे हैं, अब मैं इनको करवाऊंगा." After that, at any point we were like, नहीं ये नहीं हो रहा है. He's like, बस अब तो यही करना है हफ्ते भर. So it was like कि अगर push-up नहीं हो रहा है, he started giving us challenges कि you have to do 700 push-ups throughout the week.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that was Shashank has been the constant motivator for both of us. कि तुम लोग. So the first time I remember we did a HIIT workout was a 8-minute long HIIT workout. At the end of it, he's like, "You guys just worked out for 8 minutes without stopping. Forget about everything else and just celebrate this moment."
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's an interesting perspective you gave there. The key part is Shashank should not never start a gym because he wanted to see intent first and then make you guys work. Gym doesn't work like that. You take money first and then ask people to work. But that's really interesting, and intent based. It really came out well. Udyan, I mean, we all are talking about things which have happened in a nice way, but I'm sure there is a lot which you gave up to reach here. You want to talk about that?
One of the major things. So I think one thing that we did very well in our routine was we never gave up on, or rather, we didn't go on a strict diet. We ate everything. We also had alcohol in our system, or rather in the thing, but we restricted it to certain days. We restricted it to a certain calorie limit. I think most people who work over here know that I used to love my alcohol. I have been out almost every day for 8 months drinking. So that was one of the biggest challenges to give up, because even when I initially started and I was still in Gurgaon, I was drinking not as much, but I was still drinking while doing my workout and all. But then after that, it became okay. If you really want to see results, now drinking has to stop because of other things that drinking leads to, like binge eating and just laziness and all that. And that's how we made it. Okay, the drink on a Saturday night becomes the reward for the entire week's workout.
Yeah, nice.
So that, so like, अगर पूरे हफ्ते किया नहीं है workout, then you don't deserve that drink. Leave it.
So
That was,
and I had to specially do this, right? Because we got
yeah,
into this habit of formalizing not to use the word cheat meal, but to use the word reward meal. That
Reward
we
meal.
have really worked hard, and it's the reward which matters. And it's not easy to let go of vices, right? You don't
Yeah,
balloon up to 130 and 150 kgs without getting into vices. But to
yeah, yeah.
leave vices is, and Udyan really did well there, because I was not really hopeful that he'll, take this, whatever I'm saying to him as Gyan, if he'll actually follow it. These are just two guys trying to figure out their rhythm, but he actually did a great job there. He followed what was there, and he's been consistent through and through.
That's really interesting. Udin, did you have a target in your mind? A short term or long term when it comes to fitness. Like, normally people look at things that I want to be here 3 months down the line, 6 months, nine. Did you have something in mind?
initially when I started, it was just the fact that I want to reach in on the scale on a double digit.
Yeah.
Uh, but then after that, slowly as you started working out, is when you build a little bit more goals. So I started off with a pace of 13 plus minutes, and now come down to about 12. I want to bring that down further to about 11. I've not kept a timeline for it, but those are certain goals that I have want to achieve.
And that's
So
a very interesting point. It's like there's a famous saying that enjoy the journey, and I think you're putting it nicely that you're enjoying the journey right now. And
Yeah.
I'm sure if the journey is so much fun, it leads to somewhere good. I'll also in Navendu right now, and there's an interesting case I want to tell everyone. Uh, एक बहुत famous saying है, which I think four of us kind of worked and implied on us. The saying goes like this: मेहनत इतनी खामोशी में करो कि कामयाबी शोर मचा दे. So this is something that, and there's a incident around 10th or 12th of April last year. There was a video in lockdown by Hrithik Roshan, how he had worked, getting into a fitness, getting ready for his movie War, from a previous movie where he was actually fat. I shared that as a story, and Navendu liked the story, and I told him, "ये करते हैं." None of us told each other that we both are doing it, and now we laugh about it. So yeah, Navendu, when you started off, and I know there's a lot you want to share, and yours and UD's journey together, I think it's been inspirational. And the moment I saw you guys, I was like, wow. But you want to highlight, how did it happen? How did it start? What was the trigger point? Like, you were one for UD. What was your trigger point?
surely. So I'll actually, first take a step back and let you know how many times I failed, right? So I became an obese kid when I was 11. At 11, I had crossed 75, 78 kgs, which at that height, I had reached the levels of obesity. And till the time I was 24, I have probably bought a gym membership every single year. It's just that it was never a priority. So Manas is infamous in this office for buying memberships and not going to the gym. I am a close second. I have probably done enough advances to do something about my weight, but never taken it as a first priority, because I never realized the importance and how you can actually go about it. And I have failed, and I'm publicly admitting that it is important to fail also, right? When you fail, you know that how do you have to, plan the next steps. And I failed for 13 long years. I, in this time, had somehow got also comfortable with this fact that I'm always going to be a fat person. I'm always going to be that one guy who's going to be a fat kid. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. The entire body positivity conversation that happened, and everybody was like, even I was comfortable in my skin. To that fact, when I joined Arm Worldwide, my first intro to the larger outfit was a stand-up act in which I talked about being a fat guy, and I
Yeah,
was that comfortable in my skin that I could joke about me being fat without doing anything about it. And I was very comfortable with it. And you also don't realize how you can start and what the tipping point is. For me, the tipping point actually happened when I saw Udin's diary, like he mentioned in Hospet, and I saw that this guy had actually done the manual effort to go every single day, open a diary, write his vitals, his body weight, his measurements every single day, what he had eaten, what he had worked on, and it maintained a log, and he'd done it beautifully for 3 months. And this is a really funny story because we were very drunk when I saw this diary. And and I read it and I'm like, have you actually done this? And he like he said, he obviously said yes, and we wanted to do it. At this point also, we decided, okay, let's go back to Delhi. Let's start this again. Like, let's go for a gym membership. We'll work out after office. We'll stop drinking after office. We'll go and exercise. Fortunately, unfortunately, the lockdown happened and all of these plans also tanked.
yeah.
5 days into the lockdown, I had also developed a lower back pain situation, and I was really afraid because I've seen Abhishek come through it. My father also, came through it, and I really didn't want that to happen to me. I started reading about how to go about this. I really wanted to start. I had even, in fact, bought a gym membership. Obviously, couldn't go because of the COVID situation. But this time, I realized that I will not stop. I can't stop, and I also at this point started doing it the way I actually do things. I started reading upon how do you actually start a fitness journey. And that's the worst mistake, by the way, anyone can make.
Yeah.
Because the internet is full of bro science. Internet is full of things that are not meant for you. You have to find your own rhythm.
Yeah.
And I realized, okay, if that is something that needs to be done, I need to lace it on with something that I do the best. So I obviously needed motivation, and I'm going to share something today right now, which I think besides Abhishek, not and Udayan, I don't think so anybody in this office knows about it. Uh, I started running a fandom Instagram account. So I knew that the only thing that I know as of this time is digital marketing. And if I know digital marketing, I'm going to use digital marketing as my venture out to start this entire transformation journey. And this is I can't. So this is the first time I had the audacity to create. At that point, my weight was 127.2 kgs. BMI had a 38.10, and this is when I had actually measured myself. I don't even know how much I weighed at my heaviest. I don't even know how much my BMI was at my heaviest. All I knew is that I know how to use social media. I know how to use Instagram. I'll use my skills and I'll try to use my skills to work something better. And in that process, like Udayan mentioned, I started the consistency route. I realized that, okay, I don't know how to work out. I tried working out. I couldn't even jump 10 times. I couldn't even do 15 jumping jacks. I obviously couldn't run. So I said, what is that one thing which is in my control? Food is in my control. So you see that I started tracking my calories. I got onto this app. I started logging everything I ate. I started at this time also reading about things. And eventually I saw my weight dropping. So from 127.8, one day I was 124.9. One day I was 121.6. At this point, I've already lost 6.5 kgs. And I realized that maybe now I can start working out also. That's when I actually messaged Udayan saying that, hey, I have started to see results. I know that this thing works. You can probably, join also. And I started whatever I was doing to myself. I told him that this is what I'm doing. Are you up for it? I really like the fact that this guy never said no to anything, and he blindly followed me, like a sensei who knows nothing, but he blindly followed me. And both of us started to figure this thing out, and that's when I started exercising. I started reading about how exercise works, how nutrition works, how fitness works, what muscle groups need to work out. And this thing was consistent. Like we make our content calendars, like we make our content plan. I had a content plan. I knew, you see, I also follow a grid format that every third post of my handle would be a weight post. And this is my weight actually going down. This is, actually transcending. And I kept on reading about it. Eventually, I also started observing muscle gains. This is something which was completely new to me. For a person who's been obese for 13 years, you really can't fathom that, okay, muscles are also something in it. And that's when we realized that whatever we are doing, we are learning, there's a bottleneck to it. You really don't know enough, to be honest. And in that sense, that's where we got Shashank as as the rightful mentor, because whatever learnings we had amassed, uska bottleneck aa gaya tha. We were not in a position to now break out from it. And that's where the fittest guy we knew was again a team member of ours called Shashank. And Shashank really helped us shape the mindset part of things, that the limits that we are thinking in our head कि हम इतना ही कर सकते हैं, 1 kilometer is our limit, 3.5 kilometers is what we can run, 30 minutes exercise is enough. Shashank really helped us transcend those limits, that you can actually push this further. It's all in your mind. And that really helped. That really worked, because ever since then, we have actually not said no to any of the challenges. And we did that consistently. So starting point, like Abhishek mentioned, was it started with failures, to be honest. And it takes like a long term of failures to be a short term of success. But yeah, that's how it started, and that's how it's going.
What makes you do it every day? I mean, this is for the larger team, and yesterday there was an interesting chat I was having with all the captains, and they said most of the team members tell them that they don't have time. And I my only answer to that was, if you look at the leaderboard of the Strava for last 2 months, out of 10, 3 co-founders are there. So
Exactly.
either you guys are not working or you guys are lying. So captains didn't have an answer to this, but what makes you go every day? I mean, that's something that because a lot of time I hear people that we don't have time. How do we do it? But I see you doing it every day. I mean,
So
what commercial plugin? I'm still walking. so, so the idea. So we were discussing this, and Abhishek and Amindu both keeps poking me, saying that on my watch, my target is low. But that's what we're discussing. That I have set a minimum target for myself, which is 450 calories and 30 minutes. Anything below that, I feel bad about it. Anything above, I'm happy. So that's my threshold level. Commercial over.
Yeah. Yeah, Navindu.
Yeah. So 2 parts to that answer. Part one, to keep yourself consistent, right? There are 2 things that you need to do in this. One is you have to marry your health and fitness goals to something that you actually enjoy doing. So for me, I really enjoy the entire digital domain of content creation, right? I work in it. I really enjoy it. And for me, managing my handle, managing my Instagram page became that motivator, that I have to work hard. For me, I knew that whatever I'm doing, every single day I'm actually becoming a better version of myself, because I've not done any of this ever. I don't know, I don't have a goal. I don't have a beach body competition happening anytime soon. I'm not an athlete, so I have nothing to show for. What I have to show for is if I'm becoming a better person, and the mode to do it is the mode of skill that I have, which is that I shamelessly did it for my own Instagram, that I'll push myself to do it. And in that sense, I also never promoted my Instagram to my social group or to my office group till right now, because I knew that I can keep pushing this. I can keep going forward. And I definitely advise that whatever your goal is, whatever you want to do, you could be a skinny short girl, you could be a fat guy, you could be anyone. Whatever your goal is, marry that goal with one thing that you really know how to do. So if you like listening to music, and music is an integral part of your life, probably integrate your fitness with music. That I'll only listen to music while I'm working out. That really helps. That makes you consistent. I really love the fact how Manas takes his calls. So Manas is always on his phone because of his client servicing job. And Manas, you'll never see Manas sitting and talking. Manas always paces around, and he tries to clock in those 10,000 steps building this. So that is what makes you consistent for sure. And to find the time, which is the most abused thought that people have. Yeah, I was didn't find time for 13 years. For 13 years, I never found time. I ballooned up to a 130 kg weight because I never found time. But you realize that you actually don't need time, to be honest. You can have a solid workout in 8 minutes, like when Yudi mentioned that instance. That 8-minute workout that we did, we probably transcended our physical endurance levels in that. I had actually lost breath. I was almost I almost fainted that day. But you don't need time. What you need is the mindset. And during this lockdown time, there were many pitches that were happening, and we were working all night. I remember calls when I have broken calls and saying, I'm going out for 45 minutes. I'll do my workout for 30 minutes, take a shower, be back at 45. And
Yeah.
we've done this. All of us have done this.
Yeah.
So it's you're never strapped for time. You're always strapped for priorities.
Yeah.
And priorities are something that it's okay that you might not have them today. It's good to have them, but you can obviously build them and marry them to the things that you love, and you'll definitely sort your priorities.
Yeah. Nice. That's a very interesting point. What about your vices which you let go?
Okay, wow. This is going to be really bad. So, for the longest time, I believed that sleep is a concept for weak people. That it's just people who sleep 8 hours are people who really like have nothing going on in their lives. Neither do they want to consume content, nor do they have people to talk to, nor do they have things to do. And I had gotten into this habit of sleeping only 3-4 hours and being functioning. And I had to first of all learn to not do this. I had to learn how to sleep. I started from that bad because a large part of fitness and exercise and living a healthy lifestyle is you have to set your routine and patterns right. And I had to learn from there, and I had to let go of everything which was dear to me. So I love binging content. I have probably seen every possible TV show out there, and I had to let go of such things. And it was very difficult because your mind is accustomed to it. You get a dopamine kick when you start and binge a new series in a single day. I had to
Yeah.
let go of it, which was very difficult for me. I like being a person who knows everything and anything under the sun. To not be that, to actually give time to rest, to give time to work out, to give time to being mindful when you're eating. It was really difficult. One second, obviously alcohol. Like then mentioned, we were probably the two most infamous people in office who at least 3 days out of the 5 work days would finish work at 8:30, go to a bar, drink till 10:30, and then go back home. Not advisable, especially I am still underage, but 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 that's how life was, and that's how things were. And I understood the damage I was doing to myself, to be honest. I actually read about it, how alcohol leads to liver glycogen and how you have to ration it in your body, else, it actually spikes a lot of problems up. And I had to let go of it. And but we also knew that if we actually become really stringent and started letting go of things, we would have failed. We would have definitely failed. And that's where I actually believe a support group really helps. So when I saw Abhishek, when I saw Udayan, when I saw, Shashank, all of these guys, achieving and working towards one goal as a team, that really helps. And that really helps you also transcend into letting go of vices. And we did it collectively. Like I mentioned, Udayan and I, we coined this reward meal term, that Saturday is when we delve into vices but then not do it. Also, by the way, fortunately for me, the lockdown happened. Else I would have to had like I would have definitely stopped clubbing as well, which for me is a very difficult thing because I am a club maniac. I go to clubs every Thursday, Friday, Saturday while I was working. But now that the things have resumed and opened, I still don't do that. So it was difficult to let go of vices, but eventually you see the bigger picture and you start letting go of them. The support group helps. Find people who
Yeah.
can help you get through it.
A
It's
buddy
very
system going back to school.
Yeah. It's a very interesting thing, and I think UD highlighted it in a very subtle way. When you start off this journey with the goal of weight loss, but during the journey you realize it's not about weight,
Yep.
and that's where your mention of muscle weight
Mhm.
coming into mention. So, this question is to both of you. How important do you think is weight as a fitness concept, or is it not at all? Because I have a different concept, and I'll come to that later. But I want to hear it from you because I think you both touched it a bit, and then you just left it. So, on
I
that, you want to say
I'll let
something?
Judy answer that first, and I'll answer mine with an anecdote that Judy and I had.
Okay, Yudi.
So I think it is a little bit of important in terms of your health issues. Like even right now, with the amount of weight that I've lost, there are certain things like just being able to walk, which becomes easier because you're less heavy, or just being able to for that fact, as simple as just being able to bend.
Yeah.
All of those things do get affected with your weight. So that is one, but that is not the ultimate thing. So even so, that's again, this is again the thing. Navendra probably would mention it, that there were weeks where the scale didn't move,
Yeah.
but that didn't matter because that was part of the journey. That it might just have been कि कल रात को पानी ज़्यादा पी लिया. That's why the scale didn't move. So those are wait ultimately this thing. Let's not focus on the scale and let's just focus on being consistent, being just doing it every single day, and also building on these things. So we started off with an 8-minute HIIT to finally after 3-4 weeks doing a 25-minute HIIT with Shashank, which was ridiculous for both of us. So it wait and in the longer journey it doesn't matter.
So
Interesting.
this is a very interesting question, because the day we started, right, I had some 50 odd kgs to be lost, and Udayan also had some 80-85 kgs that we had to lose. And we remember we were setting targets on our phone, so we had this app in which you could set target, and Udayan was actually trying to do a bhautola there. Yeah, 85 is too much, like 50 ka kar lete hain. And I in that call we collectively realized that the effort to do 50 is actually the same effort to do 85. That the mindset to lose that much, you'll also, in that time you'll also start losing 85. So why not take the biggest possible goal? And Udyan's goal actually became 85 kgs when we had started to lose 85 kgs of pure fat to lose. For me, it was 47 kgs of pure fat to lose. And 6 months down the line, we realized that has now even, it's not even the secondary goal. I think it's the tertiary, or I don't even know. It's like bottom of the list. It is somewhere there, but it's definitely not something that we're eyeing towards. And for me also, it's not the most important factor. And I'll also show something here. Just give me a second to explain this. So weight, a lot of people really go gung-ho about it, but it's not the most important thing, to be honest. And I'll give you an example, right? So this is what I started with, and this is where I am. On the left, my weight is 130 kgs. On the right, my weight is 102 kgs. But it's also about lean muscle mass. It's also about how strong you are. For me, my current goals are not about weight. For me, my current goals are also, about. I hope my screen is visible. It is, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah. So for me, it's also about how heavy can I lift, how much can I run. For me, the goals have now changed. It's no longer about weight. Weight is somewhere there, it will happen. And I remember this is the first thing I wrote when I started. So I always have a habit to write a goal and then work towards it. Else it's just a wish. And Shashank beautifully coins it, saying that hope is not a strategy. You need to write and achieve what you want to do. So I wrote this, and I realized when I wrote it, I thought कि एक साल में मैं अपना सारा body weight कम कर लूंगा. मैं 130 kgs, I'll become 85 kgs, I'll have a less body fat, whatever. And I obviously understood this the hard way, that we tend to overestimate what we can do in 1 year. And we obviously tend to underestimate what we can do in 4-5. So goals keep on changing for sure. You really need not do a very hard coded, I need to lose 10 kgs in 4 months, I need to lose 6 kgs in 5 months, 5 weeks, there's a wedding coming, I need to drop down 10 kgs. Those things will happen. What is important is how stronger you are, how your mindset is, how consistent you are, and these things will fall in line. And that's where we are right now. That's where our journey is shaping.
Both of you, how has this journey in last 1 year changed you as a person from a mindset perspective, not from a physical perspective, from a mindset perspective? Anyone can go.
So when I started, I obviously I was not a person who would be very, I would look down upon people who used to gym a lot, who used to spend their lives in fitness, thinking that these guys are just body and they have no brains, they do nothing. And I really looked down upon them, and I realized that that's highly stupid of me, because people who actually take care of themselves, that's one thing that no amount of external help can get you. It's only your own effort and hard work that can get you what you want. And I've in that sense become a little bit more empathetic towards people who do that, and I'm really proud of those. And I try to seek inspiration from him. So when I see Angad cycling that much or playing badminton that well, I want to do that someday. When I see Shaurya run and do those hill climbs that he does, mountain bikes that he does and all of those things. I really want to do that someday. Tanya, for that matter, highly inspirational. Niharika, for that matter, all of these people. And those are the things that, really inspire. So earlier I would have dismissed them that, okay, this is something not for me. This is not my hobby, not my skill. Now I'm not at least dismissive of those. One second, I have genuinely become very mindful of everything that I put in my system right now. So for a person for whom the bottom of the bottle is where the alcohol stops, I have I have realized that you have to be mindful of what you do into your body. It's the most precious thing that you have, and not just of ingesting things, but also how you're taking care of it. How well are you resting? How well are you sleeping? How well are you, being mindful about it? I remember 6 months, 7 months down the line, I added a mandatory meditation and breathing plan in UD's workout regime that we also need to, calm ourselves down. We're getting too worked up. We're putting too much of ourselves out there in terms of office work, in terms of this. We really need to mellow things down. And so many changes in that sense. And I'm still figuring it out. It's just been 10 months, 11 months. It's going to be a lifetime worth of changes. So I will answer this in detail once I have more observations.
That's a really interesting perspective. Rudy?
I think two things that have really made a difference for me is now I don't go to sleep tired. Like one of the thing is कि आप end of the day पे exhaustion पे सोते हो ना, वो नहीं हो रहा है. It is because you put yourself in a schedule, you put yourself कि 12 बजे आपको नींद आ रही है because you want to sleep, not because you're tired. You could probably go on for another 2-3 hours, chill, meet people, etc. But नहीं, मतलब नहीं, हो गया 12 बजे is my time cut off. That those are things which you become के so at one point you start prioritizing yourself over just social things, and that is one mentally which has made a difference for sure. And I think another thing is definitely you see yourself as a inferior person when it comes to a social gathering or when it comes to an office gathering. Oh, I'm fat, or I know I'm unhealthy, or so I shouldn't probably step forward. Like even probably when before all this started, to be able to talk in front of the entire office would have been a question mark in my mind. But that is something which has changed. It's not a problem, let's talk. I think even as simple as you and me, we've started talking a lot more about fitness and sports and all that compared to earlier. So that has definitely changed, where I've started becoming more outgoing, or rather taking that risk. It's not a problem, let me at least put forward my point and see how it goes.
Yeah. I remember if me and Yudi were hanging out at some place, if I entered the room, Yudi would leave the room. That's a welcome change from that Yudi is talking to me now. So I'm really happy. So, but that's a very interesting point. So yeah, cool. What I'll do right now is, since I've been asking these two,
Commercial break. So I'm still listening. But
we haven't not been paid. The program has not been
आप
paid. So
सुनते हैं ना रितेश? You're also listening to us, right?
yeah, everyone.
Doing
No, I wanted Abhishek to narrate his piece also, because pretty inspiring Raisanagar story, and 20 kilometers a day of walk was crazy to start with.
yeah,
And it'll be good, Abhishek, if you could talk about yourself. Because we are
yeah,
also at 10:13, so time check.
yeah.
10:30 we should conclude. So
It was a strategic move from me so that these guys talk more. So okay, so actually I wanted to say that now UD, Navendu, Snehal, and Ritesh, they can ask me. So Ritesh has already started on that. For me, it was a surprise shock to myself. Um, During lockdown, I had moved to my hometown. It's a very small place called Raising Nagar. It's in Rajasthan. The closest known territory is Pakistan. Um and due to the proximity to the border, the internet services are not really good. I mean, you have to really go in certain corner to have internet access. When I reached there, uh, so okay, just going few years back, I was 109 kgs, and I was actually mistreating my body in every possible way. Um, while my vice was not alcohol, but it was more food and not working out. So what I was doing things which were extreme. So I'll play squash, I'll play extreme, but I'll eat more. I'll do cycling, I'll eat more. So that food habit was not in control, and that impacted my body in a way that I had to go through a back surgery. That was the first changing point where I realized that I've been mistreating my body, and I started working on my diet plan. The workout was still limited. I used to do a 30-minute walk, 2.5, 3 kilometers, and I was happy with it. I lost some 15, 16 kgs, and eventually then I figured out that, let's go below 90. So I was in a good, happy zone of 88, 89 for good 1.5 year, where I was doing well. I was working out 30 minutes, eating limited, and happy about it. When I went to Raising Nagar, माँ का खाना जो हॉस्टल में रहे हैं वो समझते हैं, and I put up 3-4 kgs in a week, and then I realized, I mean, lockdown is here to stay, and I can't be getting back to the same situation. So I started walking. Now, what happened was, because internet was limited, and I remember my initial calls on Google Meet. I used to get the point. The point had been discussed, और तब मैं answer देता था. So it was crazy. I had to actually write कि boss tell me if I'm aligned with everyone. But there was no access to OTTs. I didn't have much to do. I had my family, my son to play with, and work out. So I started walking. The biggest challenge was that my grandfather, who's a 90-year-old guy, he walks 8 kilometers in the morning and 6 kilometers in the evening. So 14 kilometers makes it close to 17,000 steps a day. That's his average. First day when I did 10, 12 and I showed it to him, he showed me his average of the month. Depressing, right?
Very depressing.
I think I have to beat him every day. I mean, he'll make my fun every day. That, अरे तुम तो 12,000 कर रहे हो, 17 तो मैं इस उम्र में कर देता हूँ. So that's how the 20-kilometer bit started. I have to beat a 90-year-old guy to prove that he doesn't laugh on me on the dinner table. And suddenly, and then I started mixing my diet. So I had referred to a dietitian years back. And the good part about that was, whenever you work with dietitian, you need to know how a particular diet is reacting to your body. For example, I know I can't have proteins in the night; it will increase my weight. So I consume my proteins in the day in a breakfast. So that's how the journey started, and that 20 kilometers. Eventually, first month I saw. So the first target was reach 89. That was a target. I reached 86. I say height के हिसाब से 82 perfect है. I reached 80. I said, अब इतना कर ही लिया है, तो let's see 70s. So I also kept changing that target. But one thing was very important, and I was always mindful because of the back surgery. I was not doing anything else. I was just walking twice a day and working out. That's when I saw Navendu's page, and I saw dumbbells and the certain exercises there. And that's when actually I started reading about it. How strength helps your walk. I was still not a runner here. And when I started reading about it, fortunately, the basement of our house was given to a gym guy. Lockdown gym couldn't happen. We asked for a key and we had a gym access to us, me and my cousin. So that's how, again, we started working out in gym. And eventually, the journey has been that, every month there has been a change. So yeah, largely that's the sum of it.
Abhishek, fun fact, there's a question come from Manas. So
Yeah.
he's asking, how do you really keep that consistency and keep motivating yourself every day?
Of course. ये मानस ही पूछ सकता
Point, Navendu asked Manas other day that what are you more surprised about, and he said his consistency. So, okay, I'll tell you. Most of my conversations in office, they're about in the corridor conversations. And one conversation I had with Niharika, she was just sitting across me, and she's also lost a lot of weight. I looked at her and I said, "अच्छा लगता है ना compliments?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Same kick." So it's become a habit now. I initially I used to get irritated if I remember the months of July and August when it was raining and I was not able to run. I used to be irritated. I think I've crossed that stage now where I'm not irritated. But when you meet people and they talk about the transformation you've got. I also maintain a blog. Initial idea of the blog was about me. So unlike Navindu, I'm not a very social media savvy person. I even, in fact, I don't post a lot. I normally post when something significant happens. I mean, I don't post the journey. I post the result. Um, in that blog, I was not sharing that blog with everyone. And that's when I had a word with Manas and Ritesh. They said, "Why don't you do it?" Started sharing it on a smaller scale, and then a lot of people reached out to me. There were problems that I was mentioning. While you walk 20 kilometers, you get blisters. What kind of shoes you should wear? Um, so then now the consistency has come because I think one, it makes me happy. I'm in my zone every day. It keeps me fresh every day. I'm a very happy person. What I used to be and what I am right now, I see a change in myself. And I think that's why, interestingly, in fact, Manas has also noticed that change and Ritesh has also noticed. So, yeah.
Abhishek, what's the next goal? Abhi to ho gaya, like all the weight loss has happened. What's
So I actually had a goal, but now, as you mentioned, it's more about being fit. I never thought running will come into my life. I just started casually, because I was seeing that I'm walking 10 kilometers, it's taking 1.5 hours. I said, can I reduce the time? Um, and interestingly, I think I've mentioned it to Navindu. Running happened because I did my own theory there. So out of a 1 kilometer walk, I used to run 10% and 90% walk. And then I flipped the percentages over 2 months. So now it's 90% run and 10% walk. Now what running does is, it really makes me happy. To run every day is a different feeling. It's a different rush. I On the goals part, Navindu, I don't know when did I last check my weight. I by my clothes figure out that I'm doing right or wrong.
nice?
So if my clothes are not fitting in, there's something wrong, and you know it that you have been eating out, you've been doing stuff which is not right for the body, you've not been working out. Your clothes will tell you. I interestingly remember Surbi once told कि पति या पत्नी कभी आपको वेट सही नहीं बताएंगे, आपका दर्जी बताएगा.
Hmm.
So that's a different, a very good perspective that's there, and from that, it's the clothes that I judge on. So good part is last 3 months I've done shopping. All of those clothes have got loose now. So I'm doing something right. I'm not checking my weight. Yeah,
Okay,
Commercial
and
break, guys.
yeah.
Sorry. So my 10 is complete. It's 1.30 from an hour point of view. I'm on my words to start running. I'll take inspiration from Abhishek. I'll flip my running versus walking. So thank you.
Nail.
Abhishek, there's also just one another question from Manas. So he's asking, how do you schedule your running, your fitness regime?
Manas
Yeah,
को सारे answer चाहिए. He'll not join Abhishek for any of the runs. He'll just take all the answers from Abhishek.
Okay, so what I've realized is, and I'll go back to the question of the time and the sleep. I sleep really early. I sleep at I think 10:30 is my last, and it's a habit that I've developed over the years. I normally wake up at 4:45. The idea is to fight the alarm. So the 5 o'clock alarm is there. My idea is that I have to wake up before the alarm to stop it before it rings. And that is something that, that's one of the challenge I give to myself every day. And I've been successful 95% of the time when I go and switch off the alarm before it starts. So I start pretty early. And, that one thing that does is that rest of my day, I'm fresh. I'm able to schedule things in a better way. Because the one thing is, one thing I want to highlight, what I do might not work for you. Everybody is different. Everyone has a different way. I know Navindu works in the night, works out in the night. It's a completely different perspective from each body. Each body is unique. And one thing that I've learned over 8 months is don't abuse your body. Human body is, you can push your body to a limit, but there are no shortcuts to it. Don't use shortcuts to have those short-term goals. Trust me, this journey, as Navindu and Yudi said, is more enjoyable than the result. We don't have a destination right now. We are just going because it is so much fun. So you keep pushing yourself, do new things. I change my workouts every day. I do a mix of weights and run. I'll do only run. I'll do cycling plus run. What it does, it keeps, it's one, it's interesting. Second, it pushes your body to next endurance level. And as Navindu said, I get inspired by everyone around me. I mean, there's Angad, there's Tanya, there's Niharika, there's Navindu, Yudi, there's Shashank. And every time when I look at things these guys are doing, like Shashank, whatever he does with his legs, I
And
want to do it one day. I mean, that's so much. That's, you just look at it and like, yeah, I want to do it. For example, Ritesh, he puts how he, Strava, the way he describes his workout. It's so nice to read. It's a good read to have. So I look for small inspiration here and there every day, and then I just keep going about it.
And I think for that,
So guys, this time no commercial break. It's 10:26. We'll do
Yeah.
a hard stop to start our work. But
Yeah.
so thank you guys. I think really inspirational. And to me as well, all of you guys have inspired. One more person I want to mention. I don't know about many stories, but Samresh, amazing
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
right? Amazing story of his landlord pushing him to do exercise, and this boy is killing it, right?
Yeah.
So वो चक दे का कौन सा डायलॉग है कृष्णा जी वाला नियत देखनी चाहिए.
नियत का ही गेम है.
So it's about intent at the end of the day. If we are in it, if we want, it'll happen. Excuses to सबके पास है.
Yeah.
Or one last thing which I really see, there is no shortcut. There is never a shortcut. Look at the stories. They are hard-working stories. Method ढूंढ लेना अपने convenience का is not a shortcut,
Yeah.
right? You have to find a method. So वो एक कहावत भी है ना, बिना मरे जन्नत नसीब नहीं होती. तो ग्रिल तो करना पड़ेगा खुद को, उसके थ्रू जाना पड़ेगा, but at the end of the day success will come our way. So just to end the day on a happy note, on Valentine's Day is coming.
Yeah.
Right? So all of us, I mean, many of us celebrate, many of us don't. And just a second, sorry, the generator nearby is making some sound. So yeah. So what we are doing on 13th, not in 14th, you're not disturbing your 14th at all. 13th morning, 8 a.m. Okay, it's not 6 a.m. It's 8 a.m. All of us will do a 5-kilometer walk together.
Yeah. Great.
Guys.
Yeah.
All 120 at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, 13th morning, a 5 km walk together. So please be on it. People who have done zero in the past 2 months. Yes, tomorrow, absolutely. People who have done zero in the past 2 months, those guys, please find your buddies. If you live nearby in Gurgaon, happy to come to your place, do it together. We all can meet at Leisure Valley Park. All Gurgaon wale guy, sab aa sakte hain. We can all do it together. Similarly, people can find their hotspots, CP, Dwarka, Gulabi Bagh, wherever it is.
Ridesh, we can go for a biodiversity park as well.
Yeah, anywhere I'm saying.
It's a very good, I mean, it's a 6-kilometer park and you people will love it because they have hills, elevations as well. So I usually go on Saturday and Sunday. I always
Perfect, Surili. Let's do it. I'm saying, but let's make it happen. Let's
go. Yeah,
this time tomorrow
जिनके पास
morning.
biodiversity है, we can meet on biodiversity as well.
But tomorrow morning, let's make sure that it is not 119. It is 120.
So
right? There are like Surbi is in Kerala, Manas is in Goa. People are traveling. Richa is also not there, but everybody will be doing their walks wherever they are. It really doesn't matter.
Awesome. This is great. Let's do this.
Done.
Cool. Thank you, guys. I think we were able to.
Thank you, guys.
Hope this session moves some of you, all of you, to certain kilometers. And you guys can reach out to me anytime you want to speak about it. Anything you want to. मतलब मैं ज्ञान नहीं दूंगा, मैं बोलूंगा तुम लोग यूनिक हो, मैं यूनिक हूँ, कुछ कर लो बस.
Yeah.
That's all that actually is required. That you just need to start talking and just make sure that the 5 people around you talk the language you want to hear. That's it. Eventually, you'll see changes in yourself.
Disclose your goal. Talk about your goal more, not about the journey. It really doesn't matter कि हम डेली 5 मिनट कर रहे हैं 6 मिनट कर रहे हैं, बट जितना ज्यादा गोल का ढिंडोरा पीटोगे उतना सोशल प्रेशर बढ़ता है, सोशल मीडिया प्रेशर नहीं बढ़ता है. Cheers, guys. Have a great day
Yes.
and see you guys soon.
Thank
But
you.
thankfully, today
Thank
was
you,
a
Abhishek.
strange
Thank you,
day.
Yuri. Thank you,
Looking at
Ravendi.
me walking for so long, my
Yeah.
my mom came down walking. So see you
Exactly.
guys.
It's the most
Thank you.
important.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.